Good morning. It is August the 12th, 2026. And today, let it go and let it grow. What are we letting go of today? And that is Seven of Cups energy. What are we letting grow today? And that is Knight of Wands energy. So with the Seven of Cups, it is about emotion, intuition, imagination, dreams, and relationships. And of course, you can see the beautiful cups there. This is also about choice. And with the Knight of Wands, wands are that fire, that passion, creativity, courage, action, purpose, and in this case, that spiritual driving fire. The Seven of Cups today is Cancer, Scorpio, and Leo, and it is Venus in Scorpio. And the Knight of Wands energy is that fire, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And it is commonly associated with strong Sagittarius quality. Today, the Seven of Cups is scattering energy across dozens of possibilities. And the Knight of Wands is coming in behind that and gathering the energy into flame and says, choose something that excites your soul and let's get moving. So the Seven of Cups today, cups again being a water sign, and Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces influence, we are releasing confusion created by too many choices. As you can see that there are a lot of choices. And even though this isn't an air sign, I also think of Libra in this standpoint. Libra needs to weigh everything when it comes to choices. And as you can see his face there is a bit of confusion. He doesn't know which way he wants to go with this. I love how they set this up like snakes and ladders. So sometimes a choice might propel you forward like a snake. And sometimes it might also make you go backwards, crawling up that ladder and sitting out for a while and observing your choices. So this is asking you to release that confusion. If there's a few things on your plate right now, go with what comes with your intuition. Where are you feeling this in your body? If you ask your spirit team, your guides, you might get an answer that you're not expecting. So sit with it and really question yourself on how you feel about the information that's coming through. Sit with it and see where you feel it. Do you feel it in your heart? Do you feel it in that solar plexus area? Does it feel bad when you think about it? Do you feel it in your gut and you're like, I don't know. So go with your intuition when it comes to this. Let go of fantasies that keep you engaging with reality. So there's a difference between fantasy and visualization. So fantasy is that sort of daydreaming, what you wish life would look like. I wish I won the lottery. I wish that, it's that floaty thoughts, versus visualization and manifestation, which is setting a goal in motion and emoting the feelings behind that to bring yourself the future that you want. Release the need to explore every possibility of every outcome before choosing. Don't get caught up on the details today. If you have a couple of choices, once again, go for it through gut feeling, how it's resonating with you. And then when you have what you want to do, just go with it. Go with that flow. You might want to make a little bit of a list, but not something that's going to drive you, I see the bat wing there. Not something that's going to drive you batshit crazy. This isn't about overthinking. This is about doing today and taking that energy forward with you. Stop giving equal energy to possibilities that don't truly excite you. So if somebody presents you with something and you're like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. That's not a yes. That's not exciting you. That's not lighting you up. That's not trailblazing you for the future. So don't get caught up in things that don't excite you. And recognize where wishful thinking has replaced actual action. So, when you grab a hold of that snake, once again, you might be propelled forward, you might be propelled backwards, but that is actionable moves. So that's the possibility of making that movement and possibly experiencing a setback. Does that excite you? Because sometimes when we're learning, you step into that energy of forward, stop motion, and all of a sudden you're going backwards because you have to find new information. You have to expand your brain. You have to let the knowledge that you've already accumulated glue itself in there. So that could be an exciting thing as well. And recognize where wishful thinking has replaced action. So once again, this is getting out of that daydream state and moving forward with manageable actions, what you actually want to do, and trust yourself enough that you're going to make that right choice. If you have the presentation of two things and you're going in one direction because you want to and you feel that pullback, then that's not right for you. When you move towards something that you're supposed to do, there's something that happens in your system. There is no resistance. There's excitement versus tightness in your gut. So really pay attention to these cues today and see where you are going and where you are working towards this. So for Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, your imagination and intuition are extraordinary gifts, but emotional possibilities can sometimes be an entire universe of what ifs. So this is that weighing everything over and over and over again. So the Seven of Cups is asking you to distinguish between that intuition and that fantasy, that daydreaming versus what's really happening in front of you. Not everything that sparkles is actually meant for you. In this society, we get distracted all the time by shiny object syndrome. Sometimes that shiny object isn't yours at all. So learn to walk away from it and choose what feels aligned with you, not simply what is appealing. So that is the Seven of Cups energy today. What is the Knight of Cups bringing in behind that? Wands, passion, creativity, courage, action, purpose, and spiritual fire for Aries, Leo, Sagittarius in this beautiful Leo energy we've got going on right now. And we are growing our courage to take the action. So for example, in this card here, if it's presenting something to you, you get that feeling of excitement, not constriction. You're like, I'm going to do this. This is giving you the strength to move forward and go forward with that action. Follow what is exciting you, what is actually lighting you up, what makes you smile, what makes that fire burn inside of you. Is that a burning feeling in your solar plexus, sacral, and heart? Are you glowing when you think about this? This is that sort of thing that lights you up and drives you towards doing it. Allow yourself to experiment in this as you are moving forward. You want to take that time. There'll be discernment and there'll be caution, but you also want that fire to allow you to experiment and dip your toes in the flame, so to speak. I just saw the fire walk. So, take that time to say yes to the adventure and this experience to open yourself up to possibly incredible new horizons. Trust the creative impulses today. Get really deep into that sacral energy, that beautiful home of that sexual creativity, that sexual energy, that creativity, that ability to move, shake, and move yourself forward. I love how this is represented by the drum, and I almost see that what the scarf she's wearing as a belly dance scarf. So, really get lower into the sacral chakra. Let things move through you. And trust that creative impulse. Let it move your spirit. Let it dance within you today. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. I've said this a million times before. There is no perfect time. If you keep putting things off and waiting for that perfect day, that perfect moment, the perfect alignment of the stars, which today is a good one, by the way. There's an eclipse energy. There's all kinds of planets aligning. This is the peak of the Perseids showers. So there's a lot astrologically going on today too. So there is possible perfect alignment for this today. So today might be these perfect conditions that you can get out and dance under those stars tonight and just feel that rhythm and excitement. This card is actually really bringing me joy today to see. Put movement behind your dreams. Take that energy and put it behind what you actually want to do and let that be the driving force today. For Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the Knight of Wands speaks your language, passion, movement, and exploration. Courage, But this medicine isn't reckless. This isn't lighting a fire and walking away. This is directed fire, directed energy, directed to where you want it to go. Your enthusiasm becomes extremely powerful when you charge it and give it someplace meaningful to land, to go, to spark, to flame. I see a beautiful bonfire and dancing around it. So take that energy and really, really charge yourself into this. So this reading today, standing in front of the 7 cups, every cup leading somewhere interesting, leading toward creativity, healing, adventure, security, and others to places completely unknown. The 7 of Cups could stand here all day, and you can stand behind them imagining, what if I choose this one? What would life be like? So maybe this can happen, maybe that'll happen, but what if I choose the wrong one? And then you get into analysis paralysis. You don't know where to look. You don't know where to turn. You're just stuck in that energy, and the fear stops you in your tracks. It stops that movement. But then the knight arrives and looks at all of these doors and spends considerably less time looking at spreadsheets and possibilities and moving numbers over into columns. The knight chooses, not because they know exactly what's going to happen, because nothing is guaranteed, but they choose it because of that energy coming from inside of them, that burning desire to move and see what's on a particular path. So today's deeper message is that sometimes clarity doesn't arrive before the movement is there. Sometimes clarity comes because we move. The clarity is, we get caught up on the decisions and the where we should be going. And that action of actually moving forward is that spark that lights that fire of the universe. And the universe is like, it's go time. We're doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. The 7 of Cups wants that clarity. And the Knight of Wands wants the experience. One asks, what if? And the other one is, let's fucking find out. Let's get her done. So there's a beautiful lesson here with the intuition and how the intuition doesn't always hand you a beautifully detailed map or that perfect spreadsheet that adds up or cancels itself out to zero. Sometimes it simply just gives you that spark of curiosity, the excitement and the feeling of, I really want to explore this. I want to go deeper. I want to see what's out there. I want to get my feet wet. I want to walk on those coals. I want to do that fire walk. I want to see what is presenting itself there and get fired up, get into that creativity, get into that joy of the moment. Enjoy what's coming, enjoy that fire, and don't overanalyze everything. The feeling of I want to explore this versus I need all of the answers. So you don't necessarily need to know what's going to happen forever. You only need to know what that next dance step is. And if it doesn't work out, you learn, you adjust, you choose again. You're still there with the movement, the wisdom, and the growth. And the 7 of Cups isn't asking you to abandon your dreams. It's asking you to choose one. And then the Knight comes in with the wand, standing beside you with the matches, and lights that fire. So what is the message today? Release endless possibilities that scatter your energy and grow the courage and the cojones to choose something that makes you feel alive and take your next step towards it. I can actually hear this drum being played. It's amazing. You don't need to know where the road is leading. You need to discover that your heart and your charisma can be the beginning of that new direction. So, reflection today, where are too many possibilities keeping you from making these decisions? The reflection is if you stopped worrying about choosing the perfect path and simply follow what is making you alive, what is lighting that fire, which direction would you actually take today? Have a beautiful day. As I said, there's a lot of energy going on with the alignments of the planets and Perseids showers, the eclipse, which we get a piece of, I do believe it, around maybe 10 o'clock. I might be wrong about that, but we do get a little piece of it here in the East Coast. So a lot planetarily going on today. There's excitement in the air, though. I can feel it. You know, dance to the beat of your own drum, light your own fire. Stop contemplating every move. Stop putting numbers on spreadsheets and hoping that it adds up to the number that you want to see. Get out there, light the match of your own dreams, and continue forward. So have a good one. That is the reading of the day. I was going to do an oracle card, but I think this is complete. So have a good one. Bye.